Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jandaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jandaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 24, Text 65. Chapter is called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so chant the Sanskrit. Yashananang Makara Kundaga. Maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah. Yashanang Makara Kundaga Charukarana. Brajat Kapola Subhagang Savila Sahasam Nityotsavam Tatripur Drishivi Pibantyo Naryo Narascha Mundita Kupita Nimescha Yashanang Makara Kundala Charukarna Brajat Kapola Subhagang Salila Sahasam Nityotsavam Tatripur Drishivi Pibancho Naryo Narascha Mudita Kupita Nimescha Yashanang Makara Kundala Charukarna Prajat Kapola Subhagang Savilasahasam Nityosavang Tatripur Drishibi Pibancho Naryo Narash Mundita Kupita Nimescha Shana Prajat Kapola Subhagang Navilasahasam Nityosavang Tatripur Drishibi Pibancho Naryo Narashtra Mudita Kripaya Nimescha Yashanang Makara Kundala Charukarna Brajat Kapola Subhagang Savilasahasam Nityosavang Tatripir Vibhantyo Naryo Narashtra Mudita Kupita Nimescha Yashanang Makara Kundala Charukarna Prajat Kapola Subhagang Savilasahasam Nityosavang Tatripir Drishibi Padancho Naryo Narashtra Mundita Kupita Nimescha Yashanang Makara Kundala Charukarna Prajat Kapola Subhasanga Vilasahasam Nityosavang Tatripur Drishibi Pipancho Naryo narashta mudita kupita nimesham. Word for word. Yasha, whose? Ananam, face. Makara kundala charu karna, decorated by earrings resembling sharks and by beautiful ears. Prajat, brilliantly decorated. Kapola, forehead. Subhagam, declaring all opulences. Savilasahasam, with smiles of enjoyment. Nitya Utsavam, whenever one sees him, one feels festive. Na tatripu, they could not be satisfied. Rishibi, by seeing the form of the Lord. Pibantya, as if drinking through the eyes. Narya, all the women of Vrindavan. Naraha, all the male devotees. Cha, also. Mudita, fully satisfied. Kupitaha, angry. Nime, the moment they are disturbed by the blinking of the eyes. Cha, also. Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments such as earrings resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see. But the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes. Imagine. Okay, repeat after me. Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments such as earrings resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see. But the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes. You can imagine. We look at the deities and the deities are so beautiful, but then our eyes blink. Oh, this is horrible. I can't have, for that moment, I cannot see Krishna. This is what's being described here. Srila Prabhupada's purport. As stated by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 3, Manushanang sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye Yatatam apisidhanang yasching mang veti tatvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. End quote. Unless one is qualified to understand Krishna, one cannot appreciate the presence of Krishna on earth. Among the Bhojas, Vrishnis, Andakas, Pandavas, and many other kings intimately related to Krishna, the intimate relationship between Krishna and the inhabitants of Vrindavan is especially to be noted. That relationship is described in this verse by the words Nityo Savang, Tatripur, Distribi, Beyond Jaha. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially such as the cowherd boys, the cows, the calves, the gopis, and Krishna's father and mother, were never fully satisfied, although they saw Krishna's beautiful features constantly. Seeing Krishna in a seeing Krishna is described here as Nitya Utsava, a daily festival. The inhabitants of Vrindavan saw Krishna almost every moment, but when Krishna left the village for the pasturing grounds, where he tended the cows and the calves, the gopis were very much afflicted because they saw Krishna walking on the sand and thought that Krishna's lotus feet, which they dared not place on their breast because they thought their breasts were not soft enough, were being pierced by broken chips of stone. By even thinking of this, the gopis were affected, and they cried at home. The gopis who were therefore the exalted friends of Krishna saw Krishna constantly, but because their eyelids disturbed their vision of Krishna, the gopis condemned the creator, Lord Brahma. Therefore, the beauty of Krishna, especially the beauty of his face, is described here. At the end of the 9th canto, in the 24th chapter, we find a hint of Krishna's beauty. Now we are proceeding to the 10th canto, which is considered Krishna's head. The entire Srimad-bhagavatam Purana is the embodiment of Krishna's form, and the 10th canto is his face. This verse gives a hint of how beautiful his face is. Krishna's smiling face with his cheeks, his lips, the ornaments in his ears, and chewing of betel nuts. All this was minutely observed by the gopis, and thus who thus enjoyed transcendental bliss, so much so that they were never fully satisfied to see Krishna's face, but instead condemned the creator of the body for making eyelids that obstructed their vision. The beauty of Krishna's face was therefore much more appreciated by the gopis than by his friends, the cowherd boys, or even by Mother Yashoda Mata, who was also interested in decorating the face of Krishna. Oh my God, Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, after this verse, there are only two more verses for the 9th canto, and then we go into the 10th canto, which is very special. It's all about Krishna personally. And Krishna has many qualities. Krishna and nectar devotion describes these qualities. Uh, I'm sure he has many qualities that are not described here because there's so many, the qualities that we can at least kind of relate to some degree, being in this material world, uh, those qualities are mentioned here. So there are, I think, 64 qualities of Lord Krishna being mentioned, and starting with chapter 21, these qualities are listed, and then are described one by one. And the very first one is about Lord Krishna's beautiful bodily characteristics, um, which well, let me just read this one paragraph about Lord, because Srila Prabhupada only gave a summary, but it was a brief summary for each one of these. Srila Prabhupada says, any comparison of the different parts of the Lord's body to different material objects cannot factually be a complete comparison. Ordinary persons who cannot understand how exalted are the bodily features of the Lord are simply given a chance to understand by material comparison. It is said that Krishna's face is as beautiful as the moon. His thighs are powerful like those of the trunks of elephants. His arms are just like two pillars. His palms are expanded like lotus flowers. His chest is just like a doorway. His hips are dens, and the middle of his body is a terrace. I mean, I guess reading these, for me, reading that, you think, what is so beautiful about a terrace or a den or like that? But if someone actually actually sees Krishna and understands on a higher level, then they can really understand and appreciate the beauty of Krishna. So, and of course, not only, and it's especially Srila Prabhupada saying here, and especially in in Vrindavan, the inhabitants there, they're special. There are many devotees of the Lord. Many of them are in the Vaikuntha planets, where of course they also appreciate Lord Narayan, and he was also very beautiful. But the inhabitants of, but the difference is that in the Vaikuntha planets, the Lord Narayan and the devotees there always see Lord Narayan as in the mood of like great awe and reverence, and that's the mood that they want, and that's what they want, that mood. But on Krishna's personal planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, that Krishna is there with his most intimate devotees, and these devotees, their interest in Krishna is not Krishna's opulence, material, wealth, and so on like that. They're not interested in. They're not even interested in seeing Krishna as a, they don't even understand actually that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Sometimes they may mention something, but that's not their mood is simply appreciating Krishna and his beauty and his loving personality and so many things that they're seeing here. They and this is actually what and actually Lord Chaitanya in particular came to give us the opportunity to join with Krishna in this particular mood. We could still go to the Vaikuntha planets. We can still go with Lord Narayan if we want. Uh, but what Lord Chaitanya specifically wanted us to become, uh, give us the opportunity to become very intimate with Lord Krishna as in Krishna Loka, and see Krishna as our um, as we could be a personal servant, we could be a friend, we could be have a parental relationship, we could have a conjugal relationship uh, with Lord Krishna, and these kind of these kind of relationships are not actually available anywhere except for Krishna Loka, and of course, of course, when Krishna comes to the material world, then he carries the spiritual world with him, or he expands the spiritual world with him. Um, and someone might think, someone might ask, um, if there's so many devotees and hundreds and like unlimited devotees in the spiritual world, where all the living entities here are just a little microscopic portion of the of the of the number of living entities that are actually there in the spiritual world. So, so one might say that if I go back to the spiritual world and say one relationship is that is to become the mother or the father of Krishna, we think how is that possible? Because we don't. Um, you cannot become you cannot become Mother Yashoda. You cannot become Nanda Maharaj. Their service is uh, eternal. They never give up that position. Actually, can anyone say how do you if you can't become Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, how do you have a parental relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world? Right. The question is, we have there's five basic rasas, you know, servitorship, friendship, yeah. So there's five rasas, and one of those rasas is to become the parent, the father or the mother of Krishna. But you can't. It's not like everyone says, okay, I want to be Krishna's mother. So then everyone's there trying to be Mother Yashoda, or everyone wants to be Nanda Maharaj's father. You can't do that. There's only one Mother Yashoda. There's only one Nanda Maharaj, eternally. So we think that I'm going to become Nanda Maharaj when I go back to the spiritual. No, you can't do that, because uh, actually that mentality actually is Mayavad philosophy. But still, we are given the opportunity to become the mother or the father of Krishna. So how is that possible? Okay, but I was looking for something more specific. That's general principle. How do you become the father or the mother of Krishna without being Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda? Hmm? Assistant. Okay, that's there. What else? Well, okay. Even when Krishna is present, um, there are many. There's hmm? Yeah. Yes. You got it. That's it. Well, that's the big one. If you actually want to be, if you want to directly be the father or the mother of Krishna, then then you can. Um, yes. So anyway, if Krishna make the yeah, sit down. Oh, no shoes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And but as far as the other relationships, there's of course Krishna has his friends, and there are specific cowherd boys that are also his eternal associates, uh, Sudam and Sridam and I don't remember the names, so many of them, but they're mentioned like that in Srimad-bhagavatam, the Krishna book. Uh, he has those their relationship there, but of course there are also unlimited if you cowherd boys, and there's also unlimited gopis and manjaris and so on like that. So Hare Krishna. Um, that's Bhagavad Gita. We shouldn't put it on the floor though. Huh? Oh, no, okay, no. Yeah. So in any way, that's the spiritual world. There's no lack of anything. There's no lack of anything. We have we suffer in different ways and different problems in the material world because it's a place where we're supposed to. Krishna wants um, to frustrate us in our enjoyment here, so that we will want to go back to the spiritual world. But actually, in the spiritual world, there's no we don't have that problem. Spiritual world, everything is described as very nice. Even just like we eat just like we eat a mango here. So mangoes are pretty nice, but the spiritual world, but the problem with the mango here is that there's a big seed in front, in the middle, and there's a skin on the outside. So you can't really eat everything very well. But in the spiritual world, the mangoes are there's no seeds and there's no skin. You can hardly imagine that. But Lord Chaitanya, one time with his associates, he took a mango seed and he planted it, and a big mango tree immediately grew, immediately in front of everyone, and produced so many mangoes. And those mangoes, it was described, were it's from a spiritual world because those mangoes there were no seeds and no skins, and Lord Chaitanya was handing them out to his devotees like that. So spiritual world is a very nice place, and it's certainly not. I mean, I remember as a before I joined the movement, uh, and I didn't have any idea what's beyond what I could see here. You know, so you would hear about heaven, go to heaven, that you become a good Christian or something, and you go to heaven. But then the thought was always, okay, it's nice, but what goes on there? You know, because you don't, there's no knowledge given about that in those other paths. So you go to. So I was thinking, you go to heaven. Well, what does it mean? You become an angel. You're sitting up in the clouds up there somewhere and playing a harp and saying praise the Lord all day. Anyway, it didn't. There was no real information given. So you kind of think that what's actually going on? Is there anything? What is it even attractive? What am I going to do all day? It sounds like a pretty boring place to me. You know, I mean, I had those thoughts, but of course, I find out from the Vedic scriptures that it's so much different. I mean, of course, there is a heaven. There's heavenly planets, which are very, very nice for sense gratification. But beyond that, there's the spiritual world. This, so the spiritual world is not heaven is not the spiritual world. Heaven is a very, very nice material place, but heaven and earth. I think in the Bible it says both heaven and earth shall pass away in time, like that. So the same, but the spiritual world there is, um, well, it's eternal, it, and and in the spiritual world there's no modes of no passion and no ignorance. Just like here we have the material world is um, affected by we call the three modes of material nature. So we're affected by goodness, which is not a bad thing generally, passion, and then ignorance, and of course we're all affected by some combination of the three of them. So, so good. So passion means is related to what? Passion is related to creation, like Lord Brahma. He's the qualitative incarnation of the mode of passion. So he's the big creator, creates the whole universe for Krishna, or on behalf of Lord Krishna. And then Lord Shiva, he's a qualitative incarnation of the mode of ignorance. So his job in the end is destroying everything. And then of course Lord Vishnu, he's got the biggest job, maintaining everything. Or Brahma creates it, or Shiva destroys it. But Lord Vishnu does a big job, which is maintaining. Just like in the temple, it was one thing to build a temple. It's another thing to maintain that temple for the next hundreds of years. It's more difficult. So, but in the spiritual world, there's no passion, the mode of passion, and there's no mode of ignorance, and the mode of goodness, of course, is pure because it's not mixed with the passion and goodness, and so therefore that means there's no creation. The spiritual world is there eternally. There's no destruction. Same reason that the spiritual world is there eternally, and and there's and there's only goodness, but pure goodness. Pure goodness means there's no mixture of passion and goodness and passion. So there's this pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. And so of course that means that there's no birth, there's no death, there's no old age, there's no disease. Our bodies are, well, we're not in the spiritual world. We actually are our bodies. The soul manifests like that. Here we are stuck inside of these material bodies, And when we get old and diseased, in time the soul leaves the body, and that's the time of death, which is of course always problematic. But in the spiritual world, there's no such problems. There's no problem of of um, of there's no birth per se. I mean the soul going into the body and then growing and becoming a child. There's no such problem like that in the uh, spiritual world, and of course there's no death, and there's no old age, and there's no disease. You can have an older body as far as your service for Krishna, but you don't have any problems with disease and old age and always fearful of death. So this is actually what we are, uh, everyone, not just we here, but is the opportunity to go back to the spiritual world, the eternal spiritual world. That this is we have the method. We've been given the method by Srila Prabhupada, by the previous spiritual masters who have handed this knowledge down. We've been given this method by which we can become Krishna conscious. It's the science of bhakti yoga. There's science outside, all the different sciences and the chemistry and physics and the whole array of sciences, material sciences. But of course, they are material and they are not perfect, and there are so many things that are not perfect about them. But there's a science, also the science of bhakti yoga, which the nectar devotion, which we read from in the morning, is what? That's the complete science of bhakti yoga. So we have here, we've been blessed with the complete science of bhakti yoga. And how is the bhakti yoga a science? Um, because just like, because in the material sciences, something is considered to be scientific, or by they create some theory, do some experiment. You come to some final conclusion that this is like this and this is like this. It's like you mix hydrogen and oxygen together in a certain way, and it'll turn into water. Put an electrical current through it, and it starts making water, for example. Um, so you can so anyone who has this proper paraphernalia and follows the same procedure, it'll work. It's a science. That's considered science. So in the same way, in Krishna consciousness, this is a science. So anyone who follows the path of Krishna consciousness, then we will gradually become Krishna conscious. If we chant Hare Krishna uh, mantra, we avoid the sinful activities, the eating meat, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling. We we engage in other devotional service, like we worship our deities, we worship and serve the spiritual master. We So many things that we do in our day-to-day lives. If we do these things, anyone who does them, and of course has the proper consciousness, will get ultimately the result and gradually become Krishna conscious. So someone might say that, okay, uh, how do I know that? What if I do? What if I did to follow this path? I did it my whole life, and in the end, I find out that I tried, but I didn't get the result I wanted. I didn't go back to the spiritual world. So what if someone may have that argument? Some that uh, we call it doubt. Someone may have that doubt. If I'm going to dedicate my whole life to this, and just going through the rituals, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, going through all this, doing everything externally that I'm supposed to do, and then maybe after all that, I'll find out, oh, it wasn't real. Maybe I didn't get the result. Well, it doesn't actually work that way because, like I said, it's a science. So if we actually are chanting Hare Krishna, and um, if we are actually hearing and accepting the teachings, and we're actually engaging our life in this process, very soon, like practically immediately, you're going to start feeling the results. You're going to feel the results. It's not just we just wait and go through some rituals for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and then think, and then when there's no result, we actually, if you follow the process, you're going to get results immediately. Of course, the results will increase more and more as we go on, but we get enough results, enough experience, enough that we start having some realization that this is that this path is real. You know, I know personally. I first met devotees. I mean, I'm mentioning doubts because I also have the doubts like that. Okay, they're talking about dedicating your whole life to something. So I also had some doubts, but I got beads, japa beads, and I started chanting on those beads, and immediately I started feeling the results. I started seeing a change in the consciousness, my consciousness. I started um, um, things was reading I had Bhagavad Gita in the beginning, and Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. I started reading it. I couldn't really understand much, but I saw that as I went on chanting, then what I was reading started making sense. It starts kind of, because we're not, Krishna consciousness is not based on being a big intellectual. You may be a big intellectual, but it's not based on that. It's based on the knowledge is realized knowledge, and that realized knowledge means it's coming from Krishna within the heart, and we get that knowledge by following the path of Krishna consciousness. So it is a science, and and again the Nectar of Devotion. This is a very wonderful book because it takes us from the very beginning of the path of Krishna consciousness, where we're just understanding why I should even chant Hare Krishna. And it's got 51 chapters. So the first up to the first 19th chapter, up to the 19th chapter. 19th chapter is Krishna Prema, love of God. That's step by step. That's chapter 19 is love of Krishna, and then from chapter 20 to chapter 51 is all on even a higher level, that we can appreciate. I mean, I can't summarize the whole Nectar Devotion, but if we can go as far as we could possibly go, get the highest realization we can possibly get, and there's always more in the Nectar Devotion to tell us what we could do and should do, and how we there's no shortage of this knowledge. So anyway, these are a couple of points related to this verse. Maybe any questions, comments? Anyone? No? So then, I guess we'll end for today. Let's continue with Srimad-bhagavatam tomorrow. We've got two more verses for this for the ninth canto, and then we go into Krishna's personal pastimes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.